Week 11, Script 1. Bonjour mes amis, cette fois nous allons commencer avec un peu plus d'histoire. This time we're going to start with a bit more history. Now that you know some about 18th and 19th century France, we're going to look at the situation in France just before World War II. Vichy France or Vichy Regime are the common terms used to describe the government of France from July 1940 to August 1944. This government was proclaimed by Marshal Philippe Pétain following the military defeat of France by Nazi Germany during World War II. The Vichy regime maintained some legal authority in the northern zone of France, which was occupied by the Germans, but Vichy laws only apply where they did not contradict the German ones. This means that where the regime was most powerful was the unoccupied southern free zone, where its administrative center of Vichy was located. Pétain and the Vichy regime willfully collaborated with the German occupation to a high degree. The French police and the state militia organized raids to capture Jews and others considered undesirables by the Germans in both the northern and southern zones. The legitimacy of Vichy France and Pétain's leadership was challenged by General Charles de Gaulle, who claimed instead to represent the legitimacy and continuity of the French government. Following the Allies' invasion of France, de Gaulle proclaimed the provisional government of the French Republic in June 1944. The GPRF was recognized as the legitimate government of France by the Allies in 23 October 1944. So, that was the situation in France during World War II. But in this situation, in which the Vichy government cooperated with the German occupation, a number of French citizens resisted in different ways, some quietly and some more forcefully. Let's take a look at how La Résistance, or the French resistance to Nazi domination, pushed back against the Germans and the Vichy collaborators. See the clip below, the French Resistance. So, that gives us an idea of how the resistance movement operated under German occupation. But where did they have their headquarters? Well, one place where resistance activity was centered was the city of Lyon, to the south of Paris. In fact, there was so much important resistance activity in Lyon. On 14th September 1944, General Charles de Gaulle paid tribute to the city's commitment and proclaimed Lyon la capitale de la résistance, the capital of resistance. Let's take a look at how Lyon played a role on the French resistance. See the clip below, Lyon, ville de la résistance. So now that we know a bit about where Lyon is and one reason why it's important in French history, let's talk a bit about how to get there. And once we're there, how to get around it. On y va?
L'équipe de tournage est en France à quelques kilomètres de Lyon. Il s'arrête sur une aire de repos. Voilà l'équipe de tournage. Alan, le caméraman.
Bonjour.
Isabelle, la journaliste.
Bonjour.
Michael, le preneur de son.
Bonjour.
Et moi-même, Nathalie, la réalisatrice. Nous allons à l'hôtel de la Cité internationale à Lyon. Alors voici la carte.
Oui.
Nous sommes ici, sur l'aire de repos, l'aire de service de Dardilly. Mais trouver l'hôtel est difficile. Alors, je téléphone pour les directions. Bonjour. Nous sommes sur l'aire de Dardilly. La direction pour votre hôtel, s'il vous plaît. Oui, je note. Suivre Lyon Centre. D'accord. Prendre le tunnel de Fourvière. Oui, oui. Oui. Longer le Rhône. Le Rhône. Traverser le pont Winston Churchill. D'accord. Très bien. Et c'est indiqué. la Cité internationale. D'accord? Merci beaucoup, à tout de suite. En route pour l'hôtel de la Cité internationale.
Alors, suivre Lyon-Centre.
Oui.
Voilà. Prendre le tunnel de Fourvière.
D'accord.
Voilà, très bien.
Pour l'instant, tout va très bien. Mais les directions sont compliquées.
À droite.
Non, c'est tout droit.
Ah, pardon.
Attends, je demande.
D'accord.
Bonjour monsieur, excusez-moi. La Cité internationale, s'il vous plaît.
Alors, Cité internationale, oui. Vous prenez tout droit, vous tournez au feu à gauche, vous traversez le pont Winston Churchill et vous suivez les panneaux Cité internationale.
Merci.
Pas de quoi? Au revoir.
Regardez, l'hôtel est en face, en fait.
Ah oui? C'est l'hôtel en face.
Ah, parfait, voilà. Cité internationale, à droite.
Oh là là.
Bon, et après le feu, c'est à gauche.
Ah oui. Ah, c'est ici.
C'est facile, hein?
Oui.
Now, take a look at some of the vocabulary you've heard in BBC video in Chapter 6 of your online textbook. List the vocabulary and then scroll down to s'orienter, getting your bearings. Be sure to listen to the audio file, so make sure you have the correct pronunciation of the words. Okay, once you're comfortable with the vocabulary, let's use it to practice a bit. We're going to practice asking and giving directions around the city. Let's take a look a bit more vocabulary and a small map of the city, which we use for practice. To ask directions to a particular place, I can start with the phrase Où se trouve? Où se trouve? And then add whatever place I'm trying to find. For example, in this map, let's imagine you're asking for the one question. Où se trouve le bureau de poste? You can't see from the vocabulary here that le bureau de poste is the post office. And if I imagine that I am the spot marked X on the map, I could give directions this way. Allez tout droit dans la rue des Marquis. Go straight ahead on the rue des Marquis. Traversez la rue de la Résistance. Cross the rue de la Résistance. Traversez l'avenue Charles de Gaulle. Cross the avenue Charles de Gaulle. Et le bureau de poste se trouve à votre droite. And the post office is on your right. So, in these directions, we learn a few important things, most of which you have in your vocabulary. List from chapter 6. Allez tout droit, go straight ahead. Traversez la rue, cross the street. Traversez la rue, cross the street. À votre droit, on your right. À votre droit, on your right. So, let's have you try giving some directions now. I will show you the map, ask you for the directions, and you see if you can give them to me. You might want to have pen and paper handy, so write down your answers. Here we go. Où se trouve le supermarché? Où se trouve le supermarché? One little hint that will help you say turn left or turn right. We use tourner à gauche and tourner à droite. Tourner à gauche and tourner à droite. Go ahead. Pause for a moment, work on your answer, and when you're done, continue the video. Okay. Do you get something like this? Allez tout droit dans la rue des Traboules. Go straight ahead on the rue des Traboules. Tournez à droite dans le boulevard Paul Moulin. Turn right on boulevard Paul Moulin. Traversez la rue des Marquis. Cross the rue des Marquis. Tournez à gauche dans la rue des Anglais. Turn right on rue des Anglais. Le supermarché se trouve à votre droite. The supermarket is on your right. Okay, let's do one more. Take a look at the next map and listen for the directions. Où se trouve l'hôtel? Où se trouve l'hôtel? Pause now and try to give direction from the X. Okay, did you get something like this? Allez tout droit dans la rue des Marquis. Traversez la grande rue. Tournez à gauche dans la rue des Alliés. L'hôtel se trouve à votre droite. Et voilà! If you were able to pick up those directions, great. If not, go back to the last few minutes of the video and watch again. Okay, now let's try this on real map of the city of Lyon.
Click on the link marked Lyon, which will take you to a map of the city. Then zoom in until you can see not only the red balloon marked A, which will be our starting point, but also this section of the city here, Vieux Lyon or Old Lyon. I'm going to ask you to give me directions from the red point marked A to the Cathédrale Saint-Paul or St. Paul Cathedral, which you can see here. This is indeed Old Lyon, with an architecture that contrasts with that of the more modern part of the city, La Cathédrale Saint-Paul. So when you're ready, use the vocabulary that we've learned here, the vocabulary from Chapter 6, and your map, to get directions from the red point marked A to the St. Paul Cathedral. Pause the video, give it a try, and see what you come up with.
Okay, did you come up with something like this? Allez tout droit dans la rue Joseph Surlin. Continuez dans la rue Constantine. Tournez à droite sur le quai de la Percherie. Tournez à gauche sur le pont des Fulets. Traversez le quai des Bandits. Tournez à droite dans les rues de Tours aux Grosses. Tournez à gauche dans la rue Saint-Paul. La cathédrale se trouve à votre droite. If you came up with directions like this, great. If not, reverse the video and listen to me. Read them again as you study the map to see where you might have gone wrong. Mes amis, c'est tout. That's all for this segment. À la prochaine.